Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Okay, it says we're live. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey. So we have a whole different setup today. Everything is different. Everything is different. Everything is new. All right. So why is there such a heavy shadow back there? Oh, it's my plants. It's my little Monstera's grow light, and she's casting quite a shadow over here. It looks very haunted. Oh well. All right, it's gonna have to look haunted today. Hello, welcome. It's our Sunday huddle. I'm gonna wait for a second. Hopefully, my people are gonna be in here with me. In the meantime, we're gonna pour ourselves. Look how cute this glass is. We're gonna pour ourselves a little bit of bubbly. I used to send out little text messages to my people and say, "Hey, the huddle's in 15 minutes or whatever." But baby, you got to be too much. You got to be too much. It's like I can't. It has been, speaking of too much, it feels like this week was almost too much in some ways. Like, always like to be grateful, always want to have a, positive outlook. My big sweetheart, how are you? How are you? Good to see you. Cheers to you. Here's to my babe, Alicia. Woo. Cheers, my sweet. How are you? Well, honey, enjoy your party. I love knowing that you're out there partying. Mwah. Thank you for saying hi and stopping by, babes. Oh, look at the house. Hello. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Big kisses to Lindell in the house. Okay, so now that my people are starting to get in here, I have to say today is going to be a big one. We had so many of us last week who were in the chat said, we made certain statements about what our input goals, which is different from an output goal. I still have the final version of my beauty Bible to do. So, ladies, when I get it done, I don't have the cover to show you, but when I get it done, you're going to have this, and it talks about what the difference between input goals and output goals are. You'll have that, but input goals, I'll tell us, like, we can talk about it real quick. And this is what we were discussing last week, and we'll get to it. Input goals are, what are you going to do? I'm going to get up every day at 5 a.m. I'm going to walk 5 miles this week. I'm going to, I don't know, return all of those things that are stacking up in the corner that are supposed to go back to Amazon, whatever it is. That's what the action you're going to take. And then your output goals are the result that you're hoping to get from it. So I'm going to, wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to, I'm not going to eat sugar this week, or whatever your input is. And the output is, I'm going to lose 5 pounds, or I'm going to whatever. So difference between output goals and input goals. So last week we discussed, a lot of us discussed what input goals we had on the agenda, what our vision was. I know we had some people who said they were going to work out, some people who said they were going to walk, some people who said they were going to, do some different things. The bubbly makes me a little bubbly. Some different things that they were going to do. And so we're going to check in on all of that. Coach is here. Hello, my love. Happy to have you in here. Coach LNV. Healthy Hair Riddle. So she says, happy, healthy Sunday. Like the video. Please do like the video. I like that y'all are here. I have a totally different setup today. We're on my computer. I have a webcam. I have the mic is in the computer here. We're not on the phone. I had to get a new computer this week. My old computer is now a paperweight. It's a whole situation. Coach says, Triple H crew. I know that's right. Good. The beautiful peeps. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, and Jan is here too. Okay. The gang's all here. As soon as I see Chroma, I'm going to know the gang is all here. But sometimes Chroma's, sometimes she doesn't show up. I mean, she shows up, but her avatar doesn't show up. So, okay, ladies and gents, this is what the huddle is going to be serving her purpose today in an extra special way. We're going to talk about our input goals. We're going to talk about how our week went. We're going to talk about the difference between setting the goal and then dealing with the reality of what it's like actually trying to achieve even the input goal. Thank you for the hearts, my loves. I appreciate you. Mwah. So we set the input goal. I'm going to work out this week. So my goal that I shared last week is that I'm going to take the next about 4 months between now and the end of February. And I told y'all that my goal was to lose 10 pounds of body fat and to gain 2 pounds of muscle. It's just what I thought I was going to do. That was the end goal that I was looking for, right? That's my output goal. My input goal has to do with getting certain, I was going to get a DEXA scan. I was going to change my diet. I'm going to exercise more, lift more weights, right? So the output goal informs what the input goal is going to be. Okay, we discussed that last week. But y'all, I got that DEXA scan. And when I tell you your girl, I don't remember. Maybe I said I was going to lose 10 pounds or 15 pounds. I don't remember, but I was going to gain 2 pounds of muscle. That's not going to cut it. Your girl is going to drop 18 pounds of fat and gain 10 pounds of muscle. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen in this 4-month period, November, December, January, and February. I don't know if it's going to happen during that time frame, but that is my goal. So that's my output goal. And as I've gotten clear on what that is, and the reason why the goal changed is because of the results I got back from my DEXA scan. My bone minerals are fantastic. My visceral fat is low. It's gone up since the last DEXA scan I had, which is no bueno, but the amount is low. Now, lucky for me, knock on fiberboard or whatever that is. I have healed my back injury that I was dealing with for a couple of years. Hold on, it feels like y'all are just seeing like the very top of my head. Is that weird? Do I look decapitated? Like shoulders might help. But so I learned from the DEXA scan that my bone mineral health is good and my visceral fat is still healthy, but it's I have more visceral fat than I had before, which is no bueno. So I gotta work those things out. But getting some actual stats is very helpful and informative in figuring out what you want to do. So I want to hear from y'all. Coach says, like, share, show some love. Yes, baby. Thank you so much. Absolutely. I feel the love, baby. I feel the love. Here is to y'all. Cheers to y'all and feeling the love. Here's to y'all for showing up to talk about the huddle, to participate in your health and be here in the huddle today. So the huddle is going to serve her purpose, which is providing that support. A lot of us talked about, hey, I'd like to do this. Hey, I'd like to do that. I'm giving you my personal update. I'd love to hear your personal updates. How'd it go this week? If you said, hey, I'm going to go to physical therapy this week, did you make it to your physical therapy? If you said, I'm going to walk, did you make it to walk? Did you get, sidetracked because work was too much? Like, go ahead and check in. The huddle is meant to be support, information, inspiration, accountability, whatever you need it to be. And it's here for you every single week. So thank you for showing up and caring about yourself enough to be here. Let me know if you have anything that you'd like to share from what we talked about from last week for what your input or output goals were. Healthy Hair Riddles says, how do you get a DEXA, DEXA? How do you get a DEXA scan and what does it analyze? Baby, let's talk about the DEXA scan. Thank you for the question, by the way, Healthy Hair. Here's to you, my love. This is sparkling peach tea, sparkling black tea with peach juice. It's not sweetened. But I guess that's good for my goals, right? Okay, so a DEXA scan is a I don't know if there's a brand behind it. Where I get my DEXA scans, I think the DEXA might be the technology or the machine. Where I get my DEXA scans is through a business called Body Spec. SPEC. They're definitely available in all the, I think they're available in all the major cities. There's multiple places in Los Angeles where you can get them. I know they're available in San Diego. I assume Atlanta, New York, Houston, big cities, I'm assuming will have this technology. And all it is, and in smaller towns, look at your hospitals for something like this and look at if you have a university in a city close by. A lot of times they're like physio departments and their health departments and all that, they'll have that kind of equipment sometimes too. And you can check on that if you live in more of a rural area. But a DEXA scan just a big table. It's super fast. It's super easy to do. It's a big table that has this like kind of bar that goes across that does this imaging, right? And I know people are like, wait, how much radiation am I going to be exposed to? They said it's about equivalent to eating 4 bananas, because I guess bananas have potassium in them, which I guess contributes to radiation in some way. So I don't think that's that big of a deal. I've probably eaten 4 bananas in a day or the equivalent. It's much less radiation than like traveling, in a plane from point A to point B, something like that. So low radiation relatively. And all you do is you go in, you lay down, you try not to work out really hard before, unless you're going to work out really hard every time. You try to keep the situation that you're in the same, consistent. It's kind of like if you weigh yourself naked in the morning, you don't weigh yourself naked one day and then weigh yourself with knee-high, combat boots on the next day. So you try to keep that consistent. So if you're going to work out every time before you have your DEXA scan, then work out every time. If you're not going to work out before, don't work out before. But you don't have to fast. You don't have to do anything. You just show up. So you show up to the DEXA scan, you lay down on this machine. You hold still for it takes 7 minutes. So you hold still at first. Keep your head still. Don't talk for like the first minute and a half or 2 minutes. And then when it gets past your head, you can talk to the person. There's a person in there, running the machine. And then it just scans you in 7 minutes. And that's that. Within 15 minutes, you get a little alert on your phone that says, hey, we have your results. And they keep your DEXA scan results in their, at least at Body Spec where I go, they keep it in their files. So I was able to look back. My last DEXA scan was in 2020. So people do it way more often. I did it in 2019, I did it in 2020, and then again in 2025, just a couple weeks ago. I think I bought a thing where you can pay $50 a time. I think I paid more in the past for it, but I think since I bought two, I got some kind of deal or something, but you'll have to see what they charge or where you are. And maybe there are other places besides Body Spec. That's the company that I do mine through. That I paid, and I think I paid already for the next one that I'm going to do in a couple months. And when you look at it, it tells you, it gives you, you see the image of yourself, you see your bones. So there are two images. You see one image that I wish I had it printed out. You see one image that has like your soft tissue, and the other image that's like the X-ray. You can see your bones and stuff. It's kind of cool to see that vision of yourself. But it gives you a readout. It will tell you your body fat percentage. It will tell you your pounds of body fat. It will tell you your lean muscle percentage and your pounds of lean muscle. It'll tell you with lean mass, which is muscles, bones, et cetera, et cetera. It'll tell you your bone density, like how much mineral bone density you have. And it'll tell you also your visceral fat. So visceral fat is really important. Visceral fat is the fat. It's not like the fat under your skin. It's not subcutaneous fat. Visceral fat is the fat around your viscera or your guts, which is basically your major organs. So you don't want fat around your liver. You don't want fat around your major organs. It's very dangerous fat. We can get into a whole other, we could probably do a huddle on visceral fat. We should do that. Thank you for the hearts. So it tells you all that kind of stuff. And then you just have a starting point and you go, okay, I got it. I know my numbers. So if your visceral fat is high, then you start looking into how can I bring my visceral fat down in a healthy way? You look at, okay, my body fat is this percent. And then if you're interested, they'll compare you to your cohort, like people who are your same, gender, age range, stuff like that. If you're interested in looking at how you compare the two, you're in the, 55th percentile or 95th percentile for this or that or the other. If you're interested in all that, you can pay attention to that as well. Let's see here. Coach says research says it's very low in radiation. Good. Yeah, that's what they were claiming on their site. And I was going to do it anyway. So I didn't look into it too much. Crow is here. She says, yes, a huddle of visceral fat. All right, so we're going to do visceral fat. Maybe even next time. What? Yana is a woman. Wait a second. Cheers to Yana. She is a woman of action. She says, I just booked and there is an appointment available next to my house today for $49. That's my girl, Yana. A woman of action. So Yana is going to go get her numbers. So y'all, this is perfect. So, we were talking last week about, hey, I want to do this. I want to start walking. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I gave y'all my stats. I said, hey, I'm going to gain 2 pounds of muscle. I'm going to lose 10 pounds of fat. I'm coming back a week later. And guess what? Plans have changed. I got more information. And this is a really important lesson that I really want to emphasize in this huddle. When we're on this journey, this health journey is a lifelong journey. We're always going to be in a relationship with our health and our well-being. So it is going to it's going to change. It's going to bend. We're going to need to be flexible. We're going to need to, take in more information, do more research, go, realize that something that we were doing doesn't apply anymore, et cetera, et cetera. So having that flexibility and having a group, a community, a family that we can check in with, a team that we can check in with, I think is also really helpful. So Yana, I am so excited for you. I'm rooting for you. You'll get a snapshot of a starting place. Now, y'all, you don't have to get a DEXA scan. There are other things that you can do. You can use strength as a what do you call it? Metric. You can use strength as a metric. So you can use weight as a metric. Weight is not my favorite metric because so many things impact how much you weigh. Muscle weighs more than fat. Water weighs a lot. And we don't always want to be losing. And this is going to take us into, because I want to give you a little bit more information on GLPs. We want to talk about that a little bit. But weight can go down and you think, okay, good. If I had weight to lose, if my weight goes down, I'm doing well. But sometimes when your weight goes down, you might be metabolically worse off because maybe you lost muscle, which was doing something healthy for your body, and you gained toxicity, which is causing your body to either retain more fat and or more water, and you're actually metabolically and health-wise in a more toxic and less positive position than you were before you lost the quote unquote weight, because you lost muscle and you maybe gained fat or something like that, but just not enough to show the difference. Or maybe you lost a bunch of fat and it released a bunch of toxins in your body that your digestive system couldn't process out, and you can't, or that your elimination system couldn't get out, and now you feel crappy. So there's different things. So weight is not my favorite one, but if you're not sure where to start and you don't know about how to, measurements are another thing. You can measure your neck, measure your arms, measure this, measure that. You can do measurements as a way. But if all of that is like, I don't know where to start, just start with your inputs. What actions are you going to take? Did you go for a walk? Great. Log it. Put it in a habit tracker. Again, once I get the Beauty Bible published, there are habit trackers at the back of this. Did you go for a walk? Yep. Fill in that little square. Check that off. I took a walk on Tuesday. I took a walk on Wednesday. I almost forgot to take a walk on Thursday. And so I got up right before I went to bed and walked down the hall and walked back. Count it. That's a walk. So that kind of thing. So tracking your input goals can be another way to do it. And so you can say, well, last week I didn't do any walking. This week I took 4 walks. That is lots of steps, no pun intended, in the right direction. So that is something else for you to consider as well. Okay, so Healthy Hair Riddle says, yes, a huddle on visceral fat would be great. Risks? Yes, how to lower visceral fat, 100%. I will do that. Coach says, Yana, yes. Healthy Hair says, it is important to have muscle. Yes. Okay, we're going to talk about that right now. And then I'm going to let y'all go. And what do I always encourage you to do when I'm done talking? That is your time for your health. Set a timer. Do something for yourself. Yana did it during the huddle. She was like, no, girl, you don't have to wait for me. I got the phone and make this appointment. Good girl. But take some time after the huddle to do something. Take some action. Research something, find something out, lace up your tennis shoes, whatever it is, breathe deeply, do something positive for your health. Take 5 minutes, take 10 minutes, take a half an hour. Use this huddle during our time and after for you, for your health, and come back again and do it next week. Healthy Hair says, it is important to have muscle, especially for those who are older. My grandmother, so you'll hear people talk about sarcopenia, that's muscle loss. My grandmother has issues walking when she loses too much muscle. Yeah, it's common. And then she said, by the way, wait a minute, pull it up. Watch it all fall out. She said, I walked this week. Yes, baby. Cheers to you, Healthy Hair. I am so happy to hear it. Sorry, bottoms up, pinkies up. Good job. Good job. I'm so happy to hear that. She said, next 2 weeks, I'm organizing a community Thanksgiving food drive to feed those in need. Oh, come on. We need more people like you in the world. Who does that? Who does that? I don't even get my canned goods together and you're organizing the whole drive. Okay, that is fantastic. I love it. I love being here with people who are so positive and wonderful. Coach says, healthy hair. Exactly. Okay, so let's talk about muscle. Hi, Springbox. How are you? Welcome on in. Welcome to the huddle. So let's talk about muscle. Let's talk about keeping your muscle. And I want to bring in a little conversation on GLPs because my understanding and opinion of them has changed. And I want you to have all the information I have as I learn and explore. So what are GLPs? You've heard of Ozempic. You might have heard of tirzepatide. You might have heard of Mounjaro. You might have heard of Zepbound. You might have heard of semaglutide. Did I say that one already? No, semaglutide is the other name for Ozempic. So there's all these GLPs. There's all of these things in the marketplace, and they've been in the marketplace publicly for a while, and they've been studied like semaglutide, which is the same thing as Ozempic, has been around for like 20 years. People have been using it. Now, one thing I did not know about GLPs is that they were originally studied for their mood and brain effects, because people call the gut the second brain. Between you and me, I think the brain has ganglia that go down into the enteric nervous system. I think it's one organ. That's just me. Who am I to say? Coach says, healthy hair riddles, you rock. Yes, she does. Let's see here. Springbox says, how to gain weight. I tried too many things, babe. You're asking a very important question that actually is relevant to this GLP conversation. So stick around. I'm going to tell you something in just a second about that. So the GLPs were first studied for their mood enhancement benefits, if I'm remembering correctly, and I believe that I am. Yes, that's correct. So then they figured out, wow, all these people are losing weight. Wow, all these people are losing weight. So when I first heard about GLPs, Ozempic, et cetera, and I saw the celebrities slimming down, losing weight, I sat back and I watched. I'm not a huge fan of big pharma. I have my reasons. So that is how I first heard about GLPs through Ozempic and that sort of thing. And then I immediately started hearing things about quote unquote Ozempic face, where people's faces were just really losing shape. Or then you hear about Ozempic derriere and stuff like that. And you're like, what is it? What is it? And then you heard about people talking about as soon as they stop taking the GLP. So GLPs, the reason we call it GLP, it's what is it? Glucose something peptide. Sorry, I honestly don't know off the top of my head what GLP stands for, but basically there's GLP-1, which deals with one pathway of, I think, hunger, right? Glucagon, like peptide one or something like that. There's GLP-1. Then there's GLP-2, which deals with two of those pathways. Then there are GLP-3s. They deal with three of those pathways. So there's different ones, right? And they keep evolving and figuring out which ones affect people and what the side effects are and stuff like that. I sat back and watched. I was not going to jump in and take this stuff. And I started hearing really bad results from it for people who had been on it and got off it. People were losing bone mineral. Their bone density was going down. That is not good. That makes your bones fragile. People were rebounding. Like as soon as they stopped taking it, their hunger was through the roof, and then they're overeating, and now they're at a worse metabolic position. They're higher weight than they were before. So I heard a lot of things about the people losing hair, and I was like, oh my god. I just left it where it was. That was about a year ago. But I always keep my ear listening. And then I started hearing people talking, people who were not the voice of big pharma, people who were not the voice of the AMA, et cetera, people who were more functional medicine, people who I consider a little bit more progressive, less focused on the bottom line, focused people who are focused more on health. I started hearing rumblings and I started hearing conversations with those people talking about using these same GLPs to reduce inflammation without side effect, to without side effect. And I was like, it got me interested. And what I learned is it's a lot of the reason that people were getting those and still are getting those really, really bad side effects from taking GLPs is dosage. So I'm saying this to say the new conversation I started hearing was people were microdosing the GLPs. So a low dose of tirzepatide, for instance, for a beginner, the standard pharma way is 2.5 milligrams. Well, I'm hearing people talking about doing one-fifth of that. One-fifth of the lowest dose. So they'll have you on 2.5 and then boost you to 5 and then boost you to 7.5 in a matter of 3 months. You may never need to be on that. And you can't take a peptide forever. You have to cycle them. I'm saying all this to you to say it looks like the reasons why people were having those terrible effects from the GLP ones that had turned me off so much was because of the dosing. It killed people's appetites so much that they did not eat. You cannot starve your body. So it's not that the GLP ones were causing those side effects. The GLP ones were suppressing hunger so successfully that people were not eating. And that the side effect of not eating is losing your hair, losing your bone mineral density, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I say all that to say, put a pin in GLP ones. I'm sorry, in GLPs. There's ones, twos, threes, et cetera, et cetera. Put a pin in that. There may be health benefits coming from that and other peptides that we can talk about that can really help people. And we could do a whole huddle on that someday too. I'm sure we'll probably do multiple huddles on different things I've learned so far about peptides, and it's going to be an emerging field that looks really, really promising. But if you are a person who is curious about that and or really scared of it or whatever, or interested in it, I just wanted to mention, pay very close attention to dosing. Really look at actual microdoses, because then people caught on that the microdosing was becoming a thing, and then they started pretending that 2.5, for instance, is a microdose. No, that is a standard starting low dose. We can get into all of that another time, but I just wanted to mention that to you, and it does have to do with muscle, maintaining muscle. It does have to do with gaining weight. The two comments that I said I would come back to, in this sense that the magic behind having something that can bring your appetite down is that it's a window to, they call it food noise. It's a window to quiet down food noise so that you can, guess what? Wait for it. Drum roll, please. Eat right and exercise. Wah, wah, wah. It is not a silver bullet, even at the microdose. What I started noticing the more I got into studying it and experimenting with this stuff is it's just a way to make it easier for you to eat healthy, nutritious food and exercise. If you don't do that, if people who take even microdosing, if you don't do that, your body needs nutrients. Your body will break down the nutrients already that you have. It'll take the minerals out of your bones. It'll break down the muscle and turn it into amino acids and then turn that into eye tissue and whatever else the body has to do. So no matter what it is, if you're trying to gain weight, if you're trying to keep your muscle mass, or your grandparents or something like that, it is the same thing. The human body needs nutrients, it needs minerals, and it needs movement. Like it's how we're wired, and we need connection, and we need good mood, and we need a lot of different things. But even with magic bullets that come from really brilliant scientists and stuff like that, we still have to honor Mother Nature. We got to eat. So the discipline on a GLP-1, when you're on a GLP-1 journey, the discipline is making yourself eat something nutritious, even though you're not hungry. So sometimes I have to use my willpower to not eat because I'm trying to lose weight. You use a GLP-1 or something like that. The discipline is now I got to make myself eat, even though I don't feel like it, because I got to be healthy. So I just wanted to give you that. I've talked for quite a long time, but I want to hear what y'all are saying. Let's hear Lindell. Lindell says he's getting his scan this week. Baby, I got to pull it up again. I would drink for you. Drink. Shots. All right, Lindell's getting his scan this week. I love it. Coach says, go get that Cool in the Gang. What? Cool in the Gang, Lindell, more awesome sauce. I know. He said, go get that Cool in the Gang. Okay, I got it. It's all in how you read it. That is right. Awesome sauce is correct. Healthy Hair looked it up for me. Thank you, girl. She says it is glucagon-like peptide. GLP stands for good laboratory practice. Girl, that's something else. I don't know what that means. Okay. Oh, GLP. Huh? Okay. Springbok says, I'm tired of people calling me a thin boy. I'm 30, but my look and body are 18. You know what I would say? And then he says, I tried too many ways to gain weight. You know what, Springboks? I would not worry about gaining weight. I would focus on mastery. So there are plenty of people who are naturally thin, who have visceral fat, very unhealthy, who have really thin extremities and really like a little soft belly because of cortisol, because of stress. Let those people call you whatever they want to call you. Master your physique. And what I mean by that is learn to make sure you're healthy, make sure your visceral fat is where it needs to be, and then become great with what you have. Learn physical skills, be able to do pull-ups, be able to do those cool tricks that people do, doing the flag pole and all of those calisthenics kind of tricks and stuff like that. Learn how to be strong and be poised and be powerful in the frame that you were blessed with. You have that foundation for a reason. Make the most of what you have. It's not all about being pleasing in the eyes of others. You have to appreciate your frame. You have to appreciate your build. Make the most of it. Engage with it. Appreciate it. Build it up. Give it nutrients. Give it rest. Give it respect. Dress up what you've got to the highest that you can do it. Own it. That would be my best advice to you, my love. And Healthy says, Spring Spike says, don't worry, focus on we're reading each other's minds. She says, focus on being healthy. Don't care about looks. Be your best self, and real people will value and appreciate you. That is 100% true. And go where you are appreciated, because a slender frame is actually sought after in so many circles. So if you're in circles where people are not appreciating you, the more you appreciate yourself, the less you're going to care about what they're reflecting to you. And they're probably going to come around more to being able to appreciate you, because that is what you're going to be exuding. Confidence goes a long way. Self-love goes a long way. And you guys showing up every week for yourselves goes a long way for me. So I appreciate you. I'm going to stop talking. Go take some time for yourself. Think about what you're going to do for yourself this week. Pat yourself on the back. Toast yourself for taking action, and do remain flexible, because this journey, sometimes the road is windy and the terrain can get a little bumpy. BT says, BT, no girls are looking at me and everyone thinks I'm a feeble guy. Honey, you think you're a feeble guy. Prove it to yourself first, and you're not going to care what they think. I love that you're here. Thank you for participating, Springboks. Everybody, have a great one. I'll see you next week. And maybe next week we're going to talk about visceral fat. So be back for that. Love y'all. And I don't even know how to end it here on the computer. Oh, there it is. Okay. Bye. Take care. See you next week. Same time.